everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to the success story session. So today we have with us Miss Ritika who has cleared the RBI Grade B in her first attempt, and she started her preparation just after the notification of the RBI Grade B 2023 came out, and she has cleared the examinations. She has faced many hurdles in her preparation journey, but she surpassed all of them wonderfully, and now she has become the RBI Grade B officer. So first of all, congratulations for clearing the examination, Ritika.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you so much for this warm introduction.
And so, how is the feeling? Now the feeling has sunk in.
It still has not sunk in. It might take some time, but yeah, the feeling is really surreal and great.
Okay. So, can you explain and can you tell the aspirants a little about your educational background?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm a BTech in Electronics and Communication. I graduated in 2016 from a government college in Gurdaspur. I happened to be preparing for uh, defense forces. I also got recommended in my very first attempt, and that was my sole motivation at that point of time to be inducted into the defense forces. After facing a few successes and failures, most of them were failures only, I changed my career stream towards banking, majorly in 2021. That is when I decided. So from 2022 onwards, I have been preparing to get into IBPS PO, NABARD. This was my first stint with RBI, and this is where I am now.
That is a really wonderful and a struggleful journey, also that I can say. So, like after so many of the attempts that you were giving in the Air Force and such, so how were you able to keep yourself motivated?
Ma'am, the prime motivation came from within only.
Okay.
I really wanted to crack the exam. I was purely driven by ambition and honesty. Apart from that, my family also kept me grounded and motivated. I had that emotional support through family, through my brother, through my friends. So that also helped me a lot in sailing through. This can be really hectic, it can be really traumatic, but then if you have your family and friends close, then nothing like it. Nothing beats that.
And how did you came to know about the RBI Grade B, and how did you think that okay, I will give the RBI now? That is at the apex of the banking sector, I can say.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll be honest, I had little knowledge about this exam. I was preparing for NABARD, as I've told earlier also. So this very close friend of mine, who himself is in a bank, he told me that now you should prepare for RBI after getting merit out from NABARD. So that is when I decided that okay, now I'll sit for this exam. I was low on confidence, I'll be candid with everyone. But then I went through the syllabus, the pattern of the exam, and then I realized that okay, this is doable. I might be able to do it. And then I carried myself forward.
But like you coming from the BTech background, did you not think about that, and you not afraid from the finance and management? That is quite new topics for you.
Yes, ma'am. While going through the syllabus, this was the one area which had irked me a bit, finance and management. But then I realized that, okay, there are more students like me, more aspirants like me who are from non-commerce backgrounds and who might not have this kind of a stream in their educational background. So that was something that I know I had put my feet into. I have to do it anyway. So I was scared initially, but then you can always utilize all the resources on the internet. You can always carve your own strategy. So that was going on in my mind at that time regarding F&M.
That is true. So now, like you have told about that, your family, your friends, they were very supportive. So can you like elaborate on that? And were they supportive of your decision from switching from the defense services to the NABARD or the RBI, and you were giving so many of the examinations now? So were they supportive of this decision also?
Right, ma'am. So a little context here. I come from a defense background. My father had served in the Indian Army for 34 years. And subsequently, my brother also joined as an officer in the Indian Navy. So I had always seen defense in and around my life. So my prime motivation was to get into defense forces. But when I was not able to crack it, then I had to be practical. And my parents and my family supported that practicality of mine. They were like, okay, you have been working hard. वहां पे नहीं हुआ, इट्स ओके, हार्ड लक, यू कैन ऑलवेज डू समथिंग बेटर फॉर योर सेल्फ और समथिंग इक्विवेलेंट ऑफ दैट. So they always pushed me only. They always supported my decision because I was being practical. I was being diligent. I wanted to do something for myself. So they supported that ambition of mine. And same for friends also. They were there in that journey. They knew in and out of me what I was going through. So they were also there for me.
Okay. Now, like you were preparing for 4 5 years, did it never come in your mind that I should give up? I should just focus on whatever I'm doing right now? Like you were working, right? While from 2017 onwards. Can you
Yes, ma'am, I
elaborate on
was.
that?
Yeah. So I had joined a private coaching institute in late 2017 because I was preparing for exams. I wanted to put that knowledge into use. So, as you have asked also, many a time it would so occur that I would be like, okay, this is very monotonous now. I have been preparing. I'm going to give this exam, writing this again and again, appearing in the interview. I have to break this monotony. But that monotony could only be broken by achieving that success also.
Mm.
So to reach that level of success was my prime motivation at that time. I used to look forward to that day. ठीक है, एक दिन मेरा भी joining letter आएगा. I'll also have my success story published in websites, or I have my interviews. So I think these all things you look forward to. So I think that was the prime motivation at that time. मुझे primarily कभी ऐसा लगा नहीं कि नहीं होगा. I was confident from within. So I
Mm.
think aspirants also should realize कि what are they looking forward to in life, and that will keep them motivated.
True, so true. Now, like you were preparing for so many, such long time period, I can say. So, were you through the like, were you in the social media also? Were you like doing any other activity, or you were focused solely in your preparation?
Ma'am, I think as human beings and as social beings, I think it is not possible for one to be solely focused towards one thing, and it is not right also. It is not fair also. So I used to use social media, but then you need to maintain that balance also.
Mm.
If you're an aspirant, if you're a serious aspirant, you cannot be all and about on social media. So personally, I was not on Facebook. I was on Instagram, but then I used to maintain that balance कि इतना घंटा use करना है, इतना घंटा पढ़ना भी है. I was not very active also on these social media websites. Telegram I used to use because you get that content from Telegram and you can utilize it very well. Other than that, I would say enjoy your life, do things, have hobbies, go on social media also, but then strictly maintain that balance. You need to have that fine line.
Okay. And how were you managing your working life as well as your preparation journey as well as your personal life?
Okay, so ma'am, the most interesting part of my day would be when I would go for work because I was teaching. I was teaching GK and English, so that itself is a very interesting area to dwell upon. So I would come back home by 3 or 4 p.m. After taking rest, I would continue with my studies. So the latter part of the day I would utilize in studying. So that is how I used to maintain the balance. More so, whenever any exam would be near, I would try to dabble in a few more hours of studying by compromising on my working schedule. I would take an off or something like that also. So you need to dabble in, you need to do that something for yourself if you want to like crack the exam. थोड़ा सा आपको compromise करना पड़ेगा अपने work schedule पे भी. That I did.
That is true. So now coming to the RBI Grade B preparation. So were there any setbacks or were there any problems that you faced during your preparation journey for the RBI Grade B?
Yes, ma'am. You have said this earlier also. I had some new areas to figure out. For instance, finance and management. And this year, what happened? They also changed the syllabus, if I'm not wrong. They tweaked the syllabus a bit.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I had to develop a new mindset, a new strategy. So the setback was primarily to finish the syllabus, to also remember the huge chunk of syllabus, and to put all the data and knowledge into use, into practicality. So I think that was something that I struggled with. कि मैं याद रख पाऊंगी क्या फाइनेंस और मैनेजमेंट में मैंने जो भी कुछ नया पढ़ा है, क्या मैं उसको आंसर राइटिंग के अंदर यूज कर पाऊंगी. So all those things used to trouble me a bit.
Okay. So now moving ahead with the strategy. But before that, one last question is regarding the learnings from your preparation journey, from the defense services examinations till this RBI Grade B examination. So what are the learnings that you have gathered that if you can share with the aspirants?
So there have been a plethora of learnings. Firstly, would be it taught me patience. It also taught me humility. Patience, as in that success will not come to you in one go. You need to push hard. You need to do a lot of hard work. Second would be you need to believe in yourself. You cannot traverse this journey without believing in yourself. You need to be self confident. Thirdly, I would say that while preparing for any exam, one happens to watch a lot of topper interviews or strategies. So, here a caveat would be that please do not blindly follow any topper. I have made this mistake. I'm speaking from experience. Some things which might have worked for them might not work for you. So, suno sabki karo apni is also something that I learned while moving across this journey.
So that is really great. Now I think we can move ahead with the strategy
Yeah.
part. So starting with the phase one, starting with the GA. So that is the toughest of all the parts that are there. So how were you able to gobble up such huge information and the facts and figures?
Yes, ma'am. So I had done my homework. I had realized this fact that GA can make or break your selection
Hmm.
in prelims, especially 80 marks ka aata hai and 80 questions aate hain and it can really make or break your selection. You can be either on that side or you'll remain on this side. So what I had done is that I had utilized RBI notifications and circulars thoroughly. And if you see the previous year questions also, especially last 2 years and including this year, they have asked a lot of questions from these notifications and circulars. This would be the first thing. Second thing I did was I stringently followed last 6 months current affairs. Again, a word of advice here would be if you are short on time, you can go for 4 months current affairs. I preferred 6 months current affairs. Again, you have a lot of things to learn there also. Third was to read the circulars of other regulatory bodies like SEBI, NABARD, IFSCA, like that. This was the third thing I did. Fourth was to, I also read something on the static lines, finance and ESI, something static lines also I read. I don't remember exactly. So these major things I did. Now here, I think revision comes into picture. You need to revise ample number of times. सिर्फ आप अगर आप कंप्लीट करते रहेंगे नोटिफिकेशन सर्कुलर दैट वुड नॉट सफाइस. आपको बहुत सारा डेटा पॉइंट चंक्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन याद रखनी पड़ेगी. आप सैटरडे संडे को रखिए फॉर रिविजन. दैट वुड रियली हेल्प यू. आई डिड दैट. इट रियली हेल्प मी अलॉट दिस टाइम. एंड ऑल्सो टू सॉल्व मॉक्स, टू गिव मॉक टेस्ट. That also boosts your confidence and preparation.
True. So now, so schemes they are a good chunk in the GA section as well as they are a good chunk in the ESI section of the phase
Yeah.
two also. So how are you preparing for schemes and the reports we can say?
Yes, ma'am. So a lot of websites and YouTube provides you with sequence-wise schemes and reports. So
Hmm.
here, what I did was I went ministry-wise with schemes. So I did not do schemes in a random fashion. I realized that I would eat a lot of time if I happened to go by that manner. So I picked up one ministry, did all the landmark schemes and the recent schemes, then moved on to second ministry. Since this was RBI, I started with Ministry of Finance,
Hmm.
then did all the landmark schemes. Also, here one advice would be to keep a close eye on budget and economic survey because every year they also release a few schemes, or sometimes they mention some schemes. Like last year, what had happened? Prime Minister had commended 2 or 3 schemes, like Atal Pension Yojana and something like that. So you need to keep a close eye on what's happening with these schemes recently. So I went ministry wise, and I also did the landmark schemes, which you have to do every year.
Okay.
And
And for
yeah. And for reports, ma'am, I wrote on Google recent reports released by so and so ministry. I maintained a Word file, noted down all those reports, and put out some important data or information points and revised it like that. अगर इतना भी नहीं करना है, then you can always rely on some coaching material. You can always go on YouTube and then you can have your information. I did that in the end. I
Okay.
made my notes and then went on to Google and YouTube.
Okay. So now, as you have very extensively discussed about the preparation for the GA part, but there is one question that comes in the mind that for the schemes also you were doing only 6 months of the preparation, but or for as schemes are more important, so you were going to 8 or 9 months also.
No, ma'am. For schemes, also I only went for 6 months primarily. But then, as I've mentioned, I also did the landmark schemes.
Mm,
From landmark schemes, I mean that those schemes which are mostly in news or always in news or very, very important, like Atal Pension Yojana, agriculture and family, agriculture and health की कुछ schemes होती हैं जो हर साल ही न्यूज में रहती हैं, या तो उसमें कुछ डेवलपमेंट हुई होती है या someone has mentioned about it. So you need to cover 6 months की schemes plus the landmark schemes. Any question can be asked.
okay. Now coming to the quant and reasoning. So how were you in the quant and reasoning? How much efforts did you put?
So quant used to be my Achilles heel. I was not sound at quants, I would say. So uske liye I had to go extra length. So when the notification came out, I made this routine that I would solve at least 10 to 15 questions without fail every day of quants. Here I went on YouTube again. I had watched sessions of various coaching academies. EduTap पे मैंने सर को follow किया. I used to solve all the questions that were discussed on your marathon sessions also. So quant के लिए you need to practice. There is no respite. You need to practice. I did that. आप कुछ strategize भी कर सकते हैं. मेरा ज्यादा ध्यान था कि I would finish one or two data interpretation. I would just clear the cutoff. मेरा उतना focus था. No one wants to top in prelims. You only want to clear the cutoff. Reasoning, by God's grace, I was comfortable at. I was comfortable in reasoning. I had given bank exams prior to that, so I was comfortable there. Again, I practiced from mock tests only for reasoning.
Okay. And do you think that the quant is very typical as many of the students have made a very big deal of the quant? So really, is it that big of a deal?
I concur with all these students. It is a big deal, especially because it's also very time taking, I would say. It's very calculative in RBI Grade B exams. I did not face any such problem in other bank exams. So यहाँ पर please जितना हो सके you need to practice and you need to build that accuracy and speed also. It's
Mm.
also the game of speed. So yeah, it is typical and it needs that extra practice.
Okay. So no one should think about that. It's like if they have given the banking examination, so they will be very easily be able to do so. Do not have that kind of
Yeah,
preconceived notion. You have to practice.
yes,
RBI is like a level tougher, we can say, in the quant
right, ma'am.
especially. So
Right,
now
ma'am.
let's move to the English part. So you were comfortable with English or did you practice for that also?
So English was the only section I was duly comfortable with. I have a certain background in English. I have been teaching English, so I was thoroughly comfortable with this subject. I did not do anything, but aspirants should practice, especially of reading comprehension, para jumbles, and double fillers, filling the blanks. They should practice that. Reading comprehension has been a pain for some aspirants since a few years, so I think that can be practiced.
Okay. Now I think you have very much extensively discussed about the phase one and the different components of that. Now let's move to the phase two and let's discuss about the finance and management. So the big question is how did you cover it? Like coming from the BTech background and starting your preparation just after the notification. So how were you managing your time?
Okay. So, ma'am, prelims, we got done with prelims by 9th July. If
Mm,
I'm not wrong with the date, we got done with it. And on 30th July, we had our mains. So, again, I had not done integrated preparation. That is, I had not prepared for mains before sitting for prelims. This should not be practiced. This should not be followed. I would not recommend this. I did not have time. I had paucity of time, so I had to do that. For mains, what I did was I divided those 18, 19 days into slots,
mm,
gave more attention to finance and management. Those were new subjects for me. So I had a coaching material notes. I relied on that for finance. I did my own research also. So, what is that one thing which you can do, which can immensely help you is that you please keep the syllabus handy.
mm.
Syllabus should be your Bible to prepare for this exam. So whatever topics are mentioned in the syllabus, you pick that topic, write on Google, write UPSC in front of it. You'll definitely get some very good points. Or you will be directed towards some official websites where you can, pull out your notes from.
Hmm.
I did that also. I used Google and YouTube extensively. कुछ भी topic समझ में नहीं आता था, I would write that on YouTube and then I would make micro notes. Again, do not make lengthy notes. You'll not be able to revise them. Make small notes, short notes, micro notes. That would come really, really handy. I did that. For management, बहुत सारा याद करने वाला था. So what I did, I went syllabus wise, made very short notes, majorly one-liners, and revised it ample number of times. जितना हो सके practical life examples अगर लिखेंगे management में, that would personalize your answers and that would give that extra, extra beautiful touch to your answers. Try to do that with management. फाइनेंस में आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते हो. फाइनेंस में आप क्या कर सकते हो, आप रिपोर्ट्स कोट कर सकते हो. For instance, if any answer demands you to write technical language, you can always start by mentioning any report or any data point or any information. Load your answers with information and data. I would recommend this for ESI also. तो फाइनेंस एंड मैनेजमेंट का मैंने ऐसे किया था, कोचिंग मटेरियल से लिया था और अपनी कुछ रिसर्च की थी. या
Okay. And like in the given time frame, you had to go through so many of the theories of management, and that is like too many theories, and that you have to cram, like totally rote learning. And many of the students face a problem in management, especially. So, how were you able to come up with the solution that you were able to goggle up some such huge amount of the theories?
So here again, I'd recommend something which I didn't do, but aspirants should do, is that try to finish management before sitting for prelims. At least complete 50% of management beforehand. Because what will happen now when you will read it again for me, आपको थोड़ा बहुत वो याद रहेगा फिर कि हाँ आपने पहले वो पढ़ा था. As you have said, it's completely the cramming वाला part. तो आपको थोड़ा सा उसको पहले पढ़ना सही रहेगा. I did not do that. I faced problems with that, but aspirants should do that. Finish at least 50% of management before sitting for prelims. And regarding management, you need to cram it. You need to learn those theories. There are a few topics which are more important than other topics.
Hmm.
And EduTap पे I remember अंचित सर की एक वीडियो है जिसमें he has mentioned the most important topics of management. Same for finance also. तो मैंने वो वीडियो देखी थी. I had ticked and highlighted the important topics जो मैनेजमेंट के थे, ज्यादा अच्छे से इसको पढ़ा. If I'm not wrong, communication he mentioned, personality he mentioned, all those topics were more important. And वो क्वेश्चन आए भी थे एग्जाम में. So अगर आप भी थोड़ा सा ऐसे strategize करेंगे, if you're short on time, then I think you'll be good.
Okay. So now I think we can move to the ESI, but before that, can you share your marks for the finance and management, objective and descriptive?
Okay. So I don't remember distinctively, but in FNM I have scored close to 77, I think.
Oh, that is really, really good score, I can say. And in such a short span of time, you were able to get this score. That is wonderful. That shows that how much of the struggle and the preparation that you have done, efforts that you have put actually. So
Yes,
now
ma'am.
let's move to the ESI section. So that is filled with current affairs. So how were you able to you had prepared before the phase one? So were you doing integrated preparation for at least the ESI current affairs?
ASI current affairs, yes, ma'am. I would say a little chunk I had completed before sitting for mains because then you need to study it for prelims also.
Hmm, hmm,
So यहाँ पे your caveat would be to not run after the static portion that much. You need to read it, just read it once or twice, but do not pay more attention to that. Any day or any time you need to prepare more for the current affair portion of ASI. That would fetch you more marks.
hmm,
Keep a close eye on reports and schemes. This time in 2023, the schemes were a tad bit difficult than the last time. So schemes pe they are paying more attention. So you need to do like that. I had again a coaching material ke notes. I did from there. Again, followed your marathon sessions on YouTube, polished it like that. But आपको schemes and reports पे बहुत ध्यान देना है. जितना हो सके उसको भी कोट कीजिए अपने आंसर्स के अंदर.
hmm,
You can also do one thing. You can go on this beautiful website, which is ibef.org. You can pluck out some data points or information chunks from this website also. If you happen to go syllabus wise and do this, you will be good in ESI. But then again, pay major attention towards your current affairs and something which is coming up each and every day, like reports or some schemes have been launched, like that. ESI ke liye you need to do that.
Okay. And before the phase two examination, were you giving any mock test?
Yes, ma'am. So I had enrolled again on a website for giving mocks for prelims.
Hmm.
I did not give any full-length test, or perhaps I gave only one or two. Aspirants should also go for full-length test. Again, I had paucity of time. I did not have that much time, but you should go for full-length test also. But start with sectional test and then go for FLTs. I
Hmm.
had given mocks.
And how did you prepare for the descriptive answer writing, like for FM and for the ESI?
So descriptive again was something I was comfortable with. I was able to type, I was able to write. But descriptive के लिए aspirants को क्या करना चाहिए ना? सबसे पहले try to finish somewhat of your syllabus. Just do not start typing the answer first. जैसे mains का date out हुआ and what aspirants do, they start by writing the answer first.
Hmm.
You should not do that. That will kill your confidence. Because आपके पास अभी content नहीं है, आपके पास अभी information नहीं है. So पहले try to finish your syllabus, try to have some content and information, and then only you carve your answers. उससे क्या होगा ना, you will have that confidence within you कि ठीक है आपको कुछ आ रहा है डेटा, आपके पास कंटेंट है लिखने के लिए. तो डिस्क्रिप्टिव के लिए प्लीज बी वेरी ऑफ द टाइम लिमिट, प्लीज बी वेरी ऑफ द वर्ड लिमिट ऑल्सो. Always have a structure in your answers. I would go like IBC, which is introduction. I would introduce the answer, the answer. Then I would go on to the body, which would contain the major parts of the answer. And then I would always state a conclusion.
Hmm.
हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हमें चीजें सिर्फ ऐसे वगैरह के लिए करना है, बट ऐसा नहीं है. अगर आप अपने आंसर राइटिंग में भी ऐसा करेंगे फॉर ESI एंड FM, you will have a more coherent and a very systematic answer in front of the examiner, which will again fetch you good marks. The conclusion should always be forward looking. I would recommend this. Try to bring that brevity also in your answers. Keep it concise. And एक और चीज, please stick to the demand of the question. If the question has asked you how, you should not start by writing about why and what.
Hmm.
So straight away jump to the demand of the question. That brevity and conciseness is also needed.
Okay. And do you believe in the argument that you have to follow the word limit, or do you think that the quality matters more than the quantity?
Ma'am, quality any day matters more over quantity. But I think if you happen to stick to the word limit, then that is any day better only. लेकिन यहाँ पर if you need to prefer, then give preference to quality. As
Okay.
I've said, that you need to stick to the demand of the question and have that content and information regarding that question. Do not beat around the bush. That also is not a very good strategy to follow. अब मैंने काफी जगह सुना है कि ऐसे कहा जाता है कि अगर कुछ भी नहीं आ रहा है तो कुछ कुछ लिख दो.
Hmm.
But I don't support that because that is not something which is expected out of us future officers. That
Hmm.
is not a very healthy way to go about it. तो वर्ड लिमिट पे तो आपको जरूर स्टिक करना ही चाहिए, लेकिन क्वालिटी के ऊपर आप ज्यादा ध्यान देंगे तो बेहतर है.
Okay. And for 600 words question, how many words do you think is the safe range? And for 400 also.
um, for 600 words, 15 mark question, that
15
would be,
marks
ma'am,
question.
15 mark
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can go for 500 or yeah, 500 would be fine. 500 words would be fine. अगर नहीं आपको complete information है उसके बारे में, then 450 to 500 is any day better. I happen to know an officer. He's now serving in RBI. So he wrote around 400 to 500 words for the 600 words question, and he
Okay.
got very good marks. So
Okay.
that exemplifies the fact that quality any day matters over the word limit also.
That is true. So now I think we have discussed about the finance and management and ESI current affairs. Like before moving forward, can you mention also that how you were revising the ESI current affairs? That is a big problem with many of the students.
So, ma'am, I have this habit of utilizing soft copies. I have this habit of making digital notes also. So what I used to do, I would annotate on the PDFs only. I would highlight the important points, and those points I would revise n number of times.
Okay.
तो मेरे लिए वो ज्यादा इजी था. And online notes में what you can do is you can edit any day, you can delete, you can copy and paste, you can highlight. So I would do like that. I would keep 2 days in a week solely for revision.
Hmm.
And ESI का तो आप जितना ज्यादा रिवाइज करेंगे उतना अच्छा है. I'll be honest, I had revised the content at least 4-5 times, full content 4-5 times of ESI. And utna I think is required also
Okay.
because बहुत ज्यादा figurative सा होता है, तो you need that.
Okay. So instead of making your own notes, like if you have the less time, then you can highlight the given notes as well as you can also write in the on the notes only.
PDFs, yes, ma'am.
Yes, on the
I
PDF
did
section.
that only.
Yes. So now I think we can move ahead with the English descriptive. So did you practice for the essay reading comprehension and such, or were you comfortable and you just went to the examination and tried it there and then only?
No, ma'am. Actually, I did the formal. I did not want to leave any stone unturned this time. So I practiced for English also this time. I had written 2 or 3 essays, practiced 2-3 and also wrote answers for reading comprehension. And please do that. Please go with that preparation at least. Do not be overconfident. We feel that English to लिख ही लेंगे, कर ही लेंगे वहां जाकर, but I think that is not a very smart strategy to follow. Because English में अच्छा score करेंगे, so that reflects in your overall mains के marks. So
Okay.
I think you can compromise somewhere in ESI or FM if you happen to be great at English. तो इंग्लिश के लिए अगेन ऐसे की प्रैक्टिस करके जाइए. यहाँ पे आपको वर्ड लिमिट का ध्यान रखना है, ग्रामर का ध्यान रखना है. प्लीज मेक शॉर्ट सेंटेंसेस. जितने लंबे सेंटेंसेस बनाएंगे उतनी ज्यादा ग्रामेटिकल एरर्स होने के चांसेस हैं. Take any newspaper article or any random article on internet and try to cull it down into 1/3 of it for pressing. I practice like that. प्रेसे के लिए आप ऐसे कर सकते हैं. रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन के लिए जितना हो सके राइट द आंसर इन योर ओन वर्ड्स. डू नॉट कॉपी verbatim from the comprehension. That is not something which has been asked from you. You have to comprehend and understand the comprehension. उसके लिए please write in your own words. And English के लिए one thing I would say is please do not breach the word limit. And there should be a structure in all these exams.
Okay. And what was the did you start from the essay or reading comprehension or Pressy, and what would you suggest to the students also?
Ma'am, I think one should start from reading comprehension because that demands more of your concentration and attention. Because answers ढूंढने होते हैं and बहुत जल्दी जल्दी पढ़ना पड़ता है, तो शुरू में थोड़ा सा दिमाग फ्रेश होता है. So I think you should start with reading comprehension. I did that. People can tweak and follow something other also. I started from RC, then I went on to Presse. Presse मुझे बहुत कम टाइम लगता था, but Presse में again, excuse me, Presse में again, write in your own words only. Try to use synonyms a lot. Presse में same मत लिख दीजिए, lines cut करके मत लिखिए. Try to write in your own words. I would come last में essay पर because essay में ना you need a lot of data points. What I used to do, I used to maintain a blueprint.
Hmm.
You have a sheet of paper in front of you. Pick your topic wisely. You have 4-5 topics in front of you. Pick your topic wisely. Spend some time there in picking. Then maintain a blueprint कि क्या क्या पॉइंट्स आप लिख सकते हैं. बिकॉज व्हाट हैपेंस ना व्हेन यू स्टार्ट टाइपिंग ना आपको पॉइंट्स एकदम से नहीं आएंगे.
Hmm.
तो कहीं पर लिख लेंगे उसको तो दैट विल बी बेटर कि ठीक है दिस एंड दिस आई कैन राइट. अगेन यहाँ पे स्ट्रक्चर का ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. यू नीड टू इंट्रोड्यूस इट, देन बॉडी, देन कंक्लूजन. Essay में one more thing which can help you is that quote any report or any definition from international website.
Hmm.
For instance, if they have asked you about climate change, you can always start by quoting any report. कि ठीक है UNFCCC कि this report has come up, it has stated this and this. Start by doing that. So I think that can fetch you more marks. Apart from that, do not make spelling errors. यहाँ पे आपको grammatical errors का भी ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा.
Hmm.
So these things I did.
Okay. And how is the interface of the examination? Usually, many of the students face difficulty. So, were you prepared for the interface or you also faced much of the difficulty?
Yes, ma'am. For this, I would say that the interface is not very user friendly. And आप एक बार mock दे लेंगे ना इसका descriptive mock, then that would really really help you. Many coaching websites does offer you a lot of these mocks. I think you should go by practicing mocks first because interface is not user friendly at all. You'll struggle there if you're not practiced it before.
Okay. And can you share the marks that you got in English?
I scored 60.
Okay. That is also good marks. So now let's move ahead with the interview part. So starting with how was the like did you give any mock interview before going for the final one?
Yes, ma'am. I gave only one mock interview. That was of 10-15 minutes. Yeah, only one mock interview I gave.
Okay. So now the final interview, how was it? Were you nervous or you were confident that okay, I have studied everything and I will be able to do good?
I think this is a popular opinion. No one can be fully confident before appearing in the interview. And I remember not sleeping adequately before the night of the interview. Again, this is something you should avoid doing. So, my interview was in Delhi, and there was something on grapevine that this time the panel is grilling the engineering graduates, and I happen to be one of them. So, interview was a good experience. यहाँ पे I would say कि make your biodata your weapon. Biodata is very very important. Try to deconstruct each and every word of the biodata. They do ask a lot of questions straight away from your biodata. And अगर उसमें आप आंसर नहीं कर पाओगे तो it does not give a good impression.
Hmm.
So biodata you need to do. Second thing, you need to read adequately about RBI. This is the organization you're about to join. You should know in and about of RBI. यहाँ पे you can utilize the website thoroughly. I did that. I also happened to read a few reports of RBI,
Hmm.
made micro notes out of it. One very beautiful thing which is there is that there are speeches of governors and deputy governors on their YouTube channel and also on the website. तो उसको पूरा पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. कुछ कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स पे अगर स्पीचेस हैं, you can read those speeches and again pluck out something relevant. I quoted one of the lines of one of the speeches of the governor in my real interview also.
Okay.
Verbatim only I quoted. So these things are required. Interview experience was great. You might be grilled if you happen to beat around the bush. But then if you don't know answer to something, you can always politely apologize. I did that at a few places. So all in all, it was a great experience.
Okay. And usually the students have this notion that if we have the gap years, so we will be grilled on that. So you had the gap years as you were preparing for the defense services. So was there any grilling that happened on that?
No, ma'am. Fortunately, they did not grill me on that. And more so, I was confident about those years.
Hmm.
I was always indulged and involved in something or the other. I was giving exams. I was working also. So they did not grill me on any of that. They, however, were interested in my shift, the shift that I made from engineering to teaching, now to RBI, then in between defense forces also. They were primarily interested in that. So yeah, I was not grilled by any of the panelists, but yeah, I remember answering their questions regarding this shift and now my inclination towards RBI. तो ये question तो आएगा ही आएगा कि why RBI now?
Hmm.
What attracts you or what skill set will you bring if you're selected? So these are everyday questions you have to prepare answers to them.
That is true. So now, as well as you were teaching, so were there any questions from the BTech background or from the teaching that you were doing?
Oh yes, ma'am. There were questions on latter. They did not ask me anything on BTech. Again, I survived. But there were a lot of questions that were asked from my teaching background, from my experience, how it helped me, how enriching it was. The chairman sir also asked me a few technical questions out of my subjects. I used to teach history, so he asked me a few questions of history. Um, Fortunately, I could answer that. He also asked me a few rules of grammar, English grammar. He happened to know quite a few rules, so he cross-checked by asking them from me. So yeah, you can expect questions from your work experience or work background.
So we should always be thoughtful about this, that whatever we are writing in our resume or so, they are the experienced members and they have the
True,
knowledge
ma'am.
from all parts of the subjects and all over the world, we can say. So they can ask you
Rightly put,
anything.
ma'am.
They
Yeah,
can ask you
yes,
anything,
ma'am.
yes.
They
So you
do.
should be prepared. Whatever you are putting in the biodata, you should be prepared about that.
Yes, ma'am.
So now the question that comes in my mind is that were there any technical questions from finance management or economics per se?
Yes, ma'am. So there was one interviewer who was solely interested in asking questions about banking and finance.
Hmm.
So he told me also that now he'll be asking questions from this area.
Hmm.
So there were questions on how to check the health of bank.
Okay.
Why do why does RBI invest in gold?
Hmm.
About NBFCs, there was a question.
Hmm.
About financial inclusion index. Yeah, these were the questions. So they do ask questions from finance and from RBI also. They'll
Okay.
definitely ask them.
Okay. And were there any questions from management also, or only banking and finance?
No, ma'am, there were no questions on management. Unless you have a background, they might ask, but they did not ask anything about management from me.
Okay. And anything from economics, core economics?
No, ma'am. Only there were a few cross questions.
Hmm.
Like when I was answering something on NBFC, then they happened to ask something about other things also, like MFIs, they asked me about,
Hmm.
and payment banks. So nothing specifically from any topic of the syllabus, but then if they're cross questioning, they might happen to go towards that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like any questions from the hobbies or such questions were there? HR based question.
Yes, ma'am. There were a lot of HR questions also. HR questions basically dealt with my family background,
Hmm.
about my father because he happens to be from the army. Those were the HR questions, and also hobbies, they did not ask anything. Unless you have written that in your biodata form, they might ask. They did not ask me anything. I had not mentioned anything like that.
Okay. Okay. So this is it. We are towards the end of the session. If there is anything that you remember from phase one, phase two, or the phase three, you can mention it. Like, is there anything that we have missed out or something?
No, I would only say that please make notes. Please revise n number of times. This time I can say with confidence that revision did it all for me. Revision made a difference for me. I used to struggle with cracking into the last stage of any exam. I have been merit out quite number of times now. So I would not revise it sufficiently. So do not do this mistake. I'm speaking from experience. Revise जितना भी हो सके, सिलेबस खत्म होने के पीछे मत भागिए, जितना रिवाइज कर सके उतना रिवाइज कीजिए, मॉक टेस्ट दीजिए, दैट विल डेफिनेटली बिल्ड योर कॉन्फिडेंस. And one thing which I have mentioned, but I would reinstate it, is that start your answer writing only after you have some content in hand.
Hmm.
So these all things.
Okay. And any last message for the aspirants out there, for the future officers out there?
My best and warm regards to all the future officers. If I can do it, you also can do it. You need to be confident in yourself. And please keep all these intangible things close. Keep your family and friends close. Keep that support and motivation close to you. And there's nothing which is impossible. You can always reinvent your strategy. Never lose that faith in yourself. अगर क्रैक नहीं हो रहा है, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, it's high time that you re-strategize your preparation. But do not leave it to fate or to God. You have it in you, and all my very best wishes to everyone out there who's watching.
Thank you so much, Ritika, for coming. It was wonderful talking with you. You are such a humble and positive person, I can say. Like the
Thank you,
vibes
ma'am.
that come, they are very, very positive, and I hope you do wonderful in your life ahead. And best regards to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much, EduTap, for adding into my preparation. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Ritika.